Hey, Fountain Valley, I'm your mayor, Glenn Grandis, and this is the weekly mayor's message. This is something that I had promised to update our residents on what happened at the last city council meeting, what's coming up at our planning commission meetings, what's coming up at our next city council meeting, and things around town. So let's jump right into it. So first, what's coming up at tomorrow's planning commission meeting, which is Wednesday, February 14th at 6 p.m. So the first item is there's going to be a public hearing for the First Chinese Baptist Church. They're looking to demo and reconstruct. The second item is a potential McDonald's over at Magnolia and Talbert. There were some concerns at the first meeting at the Planning Commission, and they asked for more details, and it's being brought back tomorrow night. So definitely make sure if you're interested in giving your input that you either attend via Zoom or you show up in person. We'll also have an ADU code amendment that's going before the Planning Commission, and that will be for increasing the potential size of ADUs. One thing I want to do too is I want to thank our outgoing planning commissioners. We've had some turnover in terms of bringing on some new blood. So I want to thank the new planning commissioners who are joining and truly thank those that have been serving up to this point. So that's the planning commission for tomorrow evening. So let's talk about what happened at the last city council meeting. There were a few things. So one, we had a study session on the OC Power Authority, which is a joint powers agreement that allows residents to potentially have the option of getting green energy. So if you're somebody who maybe can't put solar on your roof or you want to buy wind power, you would have the option of either moving over to OC Power or you could stay with Southern California Edison. Nothing has been approved yet at this point other than we agreed to sign an NDA with them so that we could get more information and bring it back to see if that's something our citizens would be interested in. We also had a approval of parking permits around Miles Square Park in the residential areas. That allows when we have big events like what just happened with the Tet Festival over at Miles Square Park on the county side, it caused quite a big crowd and people parking in the residential areas. So to protect those residents, and they voted on this way back when to make it permit parking during these big events. One other really big item was the sober living ordinance. That has been a concern amongst many of our residents that they have neighbors that businesses that are buying up homes and opening up sober living facilities. This is an ordinance put in place to help us be able to have some controls over what can and cannot happen and where they are not allowed. We also had the approval of the destruction of the current building over on Bouchard and Warner, the spec building, that's going to be our future firehouse. So we approved a contract to have that removed. And then we also had a second item where we approved the architectural start of designing the new firehouse. So those were the big things that happened at the last city council meeting. Now let's talk about what's coming up at the new city council meeting that is coming up on Tuesday, February 20th. Now this is being recorded a little bit early, so there is a chance that some of this may change, but this is what we kind of think that's coming up. So first off, we have a newly crowned Miss Fountain Valley. Her name is Love Bradley, and we'll be celebrating her. We also will have Assemblymember Tree Top to talk about AB 1805, which is the Mendez versus Westminster ruling that allowed integration of schools in the Westminster School District back, I believe it was in the 50s. So that's really interesting, and we're going to talk more about that. We also have the Community Satisfaction Survey. So we're going to put a QR code up on the screen. Take a look at that. Open up your camera. Automatically a link to the survey will come up. And let us know what you think about what's going on in our city. That's really important for us. We're going to have a study session on the economic development plan. The economic development plan, or how we go about getting new business and new revenues into our city. So we're going to get an update on that from our economic development team. We're also going to have a public notice assessment. So when things come before City Council or the Planning Commission, how do we inform our residents? Some of the ways that we've done in the past are a little bit antiquated. One of the things that we're doing is like this video right now to make sure our residents are informed. And then we're going to have a public hearing again on the inclusionary housing in lieu fee. So that's where all of our new developments have to have a certain percentage of affordable housing. If a developer chooses not to do affordable housing, they could potentially pay a fee to the city, and then the city would use those funds for a future project somewhere else. So we talked about that at a prior meeting. The council felt like we needed more information, so we're bringing that up at the next council meeting. So let's talk about some fun upcoming events. So first off, we have the State of the City. That's coming up this Thursday. It's going to be live stream on Facebook. It's going to be just a fantastic event. We're going to have a lot of guest speakers. It'll be over at the Saigon Grand Center on the corner of Edinger and Brookhurst. And it's just a fun event. If you want more information, take a look at our city website. And we're going to do our second podcast. I don't know if you saw our first one or not. We had a great interview with David Trong from Mimi's Jewelry. You could go back and look at the Mayor's Corner on our city website or our YouTube channel to see that one. And we're going to have Omar Databoy, who is our assistant city manager. I guess he has a better term for that, but for all intents and purposes, assistant city manager in charge of community development. And we're going to be talking to him about some of the projects that are coming up in and around the city. So look forward to that. That'll be out in a couple of weeks. But today we have something super special. I didn't mention where I'm at. This is just a beautiful room over at the Senior Center. Love the fireplace behind me. This is the sunroom. This is something, if you want to come here, there's computers you can use. There's books and a great place to read, or you could even rent it out for your group, for a small group. But we're over at the Senior Center, and what we're going to do now is we're going to show you a really fun event that's going on as we speak right next door in the main rooms of the Senior Center. All right, so now we're inside the Senior Center with this great event. I'm with Ben Dieterle, who is the Parks and Rec Supervisor. So Ben, why don't you tell everybody, what do we have going on today?
Yeah, so today actually we have our Valentine's Day luncheon, and it is our monthly luncheons that we have here at the Senior Center that go to any holiday theme that's coming up for that month. So next month we'll be having the St. Patrick's Day for March, and then you'll have to stay tuned on the other themes. And you can figure out what the themes are and how much things cost and when they are. You can go to our city's website, or you can go into our activity newsletter called The Centerpiece, which we publish each month, listing all the activities and programs and special events that we have going on.
Does it cost to participate?
It does. It costs $7 to participate, but with that $7, you get a catered lunch, you get entertainment, and a chance to win raffle prizes.
And then who's welcome to attend?
Anyone 55 plus. You do not need to be a Fountain Valley resident. Everyone's welcome to come to the luncheons.
All right, well, that's really good information. Now we're going to go over to Jenny Worsham. And now we have Jenny Worsham, who is the Parks and Rec's manager. And we've got some pretty exciting news with Jenny. We're so proud of her. So Jenny, tell us, what have you just recently been elected to?
I was elected as the Vice President to the California Parks and Recreation Society State Board just recently.
Well, that is amazing. You're a great representation from our city, and we're so proud of you and so proud of all that you do for our community. These events
thank
are
you
just
so
wonderful.
much. Thank you. Very excited about the opportunity.
Yeah, and that's this week's Mayor's Message. Look for us in the future for more information on what's going on around the city. I'm your mayor, Glenn Grandis. See you soon.